All right, good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Today is November 16th, 2017. And I think I have a pretty interesting dream. I think it's talking about the wedding, okay, the wedding of Jesus Christ, okay, the marriage supper of the Lamb. So first I want to tell you that on the 14th I had a dream that really bothered me. And I didn't understand it. And I thought maybe I had done something that hurt the Lord. So I think after praying on it and talking to a friend about it, I believe that the dream was talking about those of us that so many dates have been set and they haven't happened, so a lot of people are going back into the world. Now, maybe even I was doing this because I just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to continue to work. You know, we're supposed to keep working, just keep moving forward. But I found myself just not even wanting to watch some of the other videos because I just, I think like most of us, I was a little bit, you know, kind of down in the dumps, so to speak, thinking, okay, well, I have to remember that Jesus said it's going to come on a day when we think not. And I thought, well, I'm just going to keep moving forward. So it could be because of that, because I, you know, was just kind of going back to the things that were normal, getting ready for, you know, the holidays that are coming up. And anyways, at the end of the dream, I thought it was my husband. I knew it was Brian, but it wasn't him. You know what I mean? It didn't look like him. But what he said to me really upset me, and it was, I saw you with that man. Okay? And I just believe that the man represented, you know, the world, okay? Just kind of maybe trying to slide back into just everyday things, putting other things on the back burner, and so to speak. And so I was praying really hard over it, and I was really praying with the Lord because I was like, well, you know, Lord, if I've done anything that upset you, I am so sorry. So I was just really prayed a lot yesterday on this, just talking to the Lord and asking for confirmation to please, you know, show me, am I being convicted of something? And he gave me a dream last night, and I think now I know what he was talking about, and that's basically what it was Jesus to many people, or being put on the back burner, so to speak. Because the thing that I was shown in the dream was that, in my case, I don't know, like I said, I didn't know if it was me or he was just giving me a general feeling of what's going on, which was, I knew that my husband was there, and I would just, you know, talk to him later. I was getting back into things of the world. So again, I didn't know if this was me. I didn't feel it was me because I'm still, you know, I'm waiting, I'm praying, I'm always talking to the Lord. But even so, it could have been, because like I said, I was feeling a little down in the dumps too, thinking, well, let's just keep moving forward. And so maybe that's just a little heads up for any of you out there that are maybe going through the same thing, get let down because the dates have come and then they've left. And so many people might be just thinking, well, you know what? I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna not worry about this for a while. And I think what the Lord was saying is that's not what he wants us to do, okay? Because he's gonna come at a time when we think not, and he wants us to be ready at all times. Now, the confirmation he gave me last night was this. Again, the man that I was talking to, his name was Brian Bright. Now, I really know a man by this name, okay? Now, the name Brian means exalted one. And we all know what the definition of bright is. It's reflecting a lot of light, shining. So when you put the names together, it's the shining, exalted one. So to me, I believe this man represented the Lord. So in this dream, he came to me and he was talking to me, and he said that this woman who referred to herself as his bride or his fiance, he said she was getting really excited about the wedding, and he kind of played out showing me what she was doing. You know, he said she's got her wedding dress on, she's skipping, you know, trying to imagine that day. Is basically what he was showing me. She was trying to imagine what that day was going to be like when she would have the wedding dress on and walking down the aisle, okay? And as he told me this, I said to him, I had a dream about that. He said, well, then that must mean it's going to happen. So then as we were talking, I noticed that he really, how do I say this without, see, it's hard to sometimes explain this without people thinking that, I'm somebody special. I'm not. In fact, I want to tell you guys real quick that the Church of Christ is actually the followers of Christ. So the church that Jesus is coming back to get is those that are the followers of Christ, that believe in him. I'm a follower of Christ, so I believe that basically I was just symbolic in this dream. So what he showed me after we were talking about this woman who was preparing for this day, what he was saying was the ones that he's actually in love with was the followers of Christ. Because he looked at me, and in my spirit, I knew what he was thinking. I knew what was going on, and I knew that's what it was. That this woman who is trying to prepare, waiting for that day, represents another group of people. Maybe the foolish virgins, I don't know. But what he showed me in the dream is that who he's in love with and who he wants to marry are the followers of Christ. So there was 3 scenes in this. So I had that scene. Okay, and then in the next scene, I don't know where I was, but I had to walk in this room, and it was complete dark. You guys know when you walk into a room that's not lit up, you kind of shuffle your feet, trying to feel your way around. Well, as I started to do that, suddenly he appeared out of nowhere, and he enfolded me in his arms, and he helped me through this darkness. He walked me through it. Okay, and then in the last scene, I was in an area that I knew he was working, okay, like a job. And we know that Jesus is always working. So this unknown man, in fact, I didn't even see him, but he was an authoritative man. He was somebody that, was in charge. And he came up to me and asked if this man, this Brian, was still working. Or where he was working at. Or, no, I'm sorry, if he was still working. Yeah, if he was still at his job. And I said, yes, I think so. Let me show you where he's at. And I was hoping he was still there, too, because I wanted to see him again. So I had the man follow me into where this Brian was working, and I saw that he was there. And once again, I saw this woman in a wedding dress standing beside him. But again, in this part, I knew that he was going to marry me, the followers of Christ, not this other woman. So I didn't want to cause any problems or hurt her or anything, if that makes sense. So I just showed the man, here's Brian. And then I just kind of backed out of the room to not, because this woman was all preening, and she was, she just believed that she was the one he was marrying. But I was specifically told in this dream that it wasn't her that he's marrying. He's marrying the true followers of Christ. Now, there was one more scene in this dream, and in this scene, I was at some kind of party, a festival. I don't know what it was, but I made all these cupcakes, and then I strung them up like in a garland, and I was making all this other food. And the last thing I remember is there was some kind of apple dish, like an apple pie or something, and I shared it with my mom. I knew that my mom liked this, so I shared it with her at this party. So again, it was just some kind of festival or a gathering, and that's basically all that happened. So I hope you guys can see that I believe that this is an encouraging dream, that we are not to stop watching for the Lord. We are not to go back into the world, okay? And I'll tell you what, just being in that position where I was in that place and saw him cry, it really bothered me, and it really upset me. And I know exactly what he was saying to me was, people aren't waiting for him anymore. They're going back into the world. And he sees that. He clearly said, I know what you're doing. Okay? I see it. So, anyways, this took me a couple days because, I always ask the Lord, please convict me of any sin that I'm not even maybe aware of what I'm doing. Because I'm very serious about this, and I truly love the Lord. So I believe this overall message was for everyone, for people that have maybe kind of given up. In fact, I got a letter from somebody that has done that very thing, and it just really breaks my heart. I mean, I know we all go through times of testing and we go through trials, and I believe this is where we're at. We're at the end where the spiritual warfare is really getting heavy. And Jesus is clearly saying, don't go back into the world. Keep hanging on. Put me first, because that's exactly what I was shown, was that he was kind of put on the back burner. and it hurt him. Okay, it really hurt him, and it really upset me. I mean, I was in tears yesterday, crying and praying. You know, Lord, have I done anything? But this is all the stuff that He put on my heart since then, and then the confirmation of this dream that I got last night. So again, I just believe that Brian represents the Lord in this dream, because if you put the meaning of his name together, it means bright and shining, exalted one. And you guys can look that up just on Google if you want, as in the meaning of names and stuff. So again, I was trying to figure out, I talked to even my husband about this, and he agreed. He said, what you need to figure out is, who is this woman who believes she's marrying him? That was the only thing I was stuck on. So I'm going to ask you guys to pray for discernment on this. Please take it to the Lord and let me know if He puts anything on your heart. Myself, only thing I could think of is possibly Israel, or maybe the foolish virgins, you know, maybe that category. But whoever it was, she was ready, and she believes that she is the one that's going to be marrying him. But I was specifically told that the one that he is marrying, wants to marry, and is marrying is the Church of Christ, the true followers of Christ. Okay? So anyways, when I said that I'd had a dream about that, he said, well, then it must mean it's going to happen. So I hope this encourages you guys. Again, I feel we are super close. We're at the end. But again, God's timing's not our timing, you guys. We live on earth. God has no time. There's no time in heaven, okay? So please, again, take this to the Lord. Pray and stay close to God, okay? Because we need to be ready at all times. So I just pray the Lord blesses each and every one of you and your family members, okay? And I pray you have a great day. And if I get anything out, you guys, you know I'll share it with you. So I love you guys. Bye.